Good afternoon. My name is Nolan Schultz. I'm 12 years old in the 6th grade and a first-class Boy Scout with Murrysville Troop 205. Today's January 25th, and it is very cold. It's 25 degrees and snowing. Please join me to learn a little bit about awesome Murrysville, Pennsylvania. I'll share some history about this great town and what I think are just a few of the many special things about why I feel lucky to call it my home. Are you ready to go? You better put your fast shoes on because I move like lightning. Early pioneers in this area that became Franklin Township and eventually Murrysville arrived from the counties east of the Allegheny Mountains. Around 1772, Michael Rue Jr., the son of a German immigrant, came from Northampton County in eastern Pennsylvania with his parents and siblings. He built a log cabin on the property now occupied by the golf course. In those days, Indian hostilities were common occurrences here. Settlers were under constant threat of attack. During the Revolutionary War, Michael Rue, his wife Phoebe Hawkins Rook, and their young daughter Mary, an infant son, were captured by the Seneca Indians and their cabin was burned. The family was taken to an Indian village near what is now Oil City, where they spent the winter. The following spring, Michael and Phoebe Rue were taken separately to Canada. Their infant son didn't survive the journey. Mary Rue was kept behind with the tribe and was adopted by an elderly woman, squaw. Her parents wouldn't see her for the next 8 years. So Michael and Phoebe Rue were held at the same location, or sometime neither even knew the other was there. The Rues remained in Canada for 3 years until their release near the end of the war. They returned to their Franklin Township property, where they built another log cabin and began a long search for their missing daughter. Michael Rue was elected to the House of Representatives in Philadelphia, representing Westmoreland County. When he told his fellow delegates about his missing daughter, one of them remembered seeing a white girl living with Indians near the Susquehanna River. When Mary was found, her face and arms stained to hide her identity. She no longer spoke English and did not want to leave her Indian family. The sum of $10 was paid for her release, and she was returned to her parents, whom she no longer recognized. Although it took several years to adjust her life with her family, Mary was re-educated in English as well as the white man's ways. Upon completion of his term in office, Michael Rue returned to Franklin Township property, where he built this home right here. It was constructed of stone to provide protection against potential Indian attacks. He also built a grist mill along a nearby stream across what is now Sardis Road, which is over there. Michael Rue brought the plans for the house from Philadelphia. The stones were obtained from a nearby quarry along present-day School Road. The house became generally known as the Philadelphia Mansion. Michael and Phoebe Rue lived there until their deaths, Phoebe in 1809 and Michael in 1820. In 1794, Mary married Jacob Haymaker, who later became a judge. Their grandsons, Michael and Obadiah Haymaker, drilled Murrysville famous gas well, the first in the country, in 1878. This old stone house is not very far from mine. History is often found where we least expect it. I am proud of Murrysville heritage and recognize the importance of preserving it for future generations. Murrysville Tree Sign was first conceived by F.M. Sloan, a local man connected with the natural gas industry. Sloan was also a scoutmaster and directed his Boy Scouts to plant the bare hillside with 850 Scotch and red pine trees. Boy Scouts planted the sign between 1932 and 1933, earning 50 cents per day. The stem of the Y was positioned to the point to the site of the Haymaker gas well in 1878, the world's largest commercial gas well. It caught fire and burned for 18 months before being extinguished. In 1947, the landmark was featured in Ripley, believe it or not, as the world's largest arboreal sign. The sign has been included in the Guinness Book of World Records several times. Over the years, the tree sign has been decorated with lights for Christmas and beacons for airline pilots who would use it as a reference point. In the 1970s, the Alliance purchased 700 3-foot blue Norway spruce trees, holding each one across a steep hillside. The sign has thrived until recent years, since it has become quite over Murrysville itself was founded by Ireland native Jeremiah Murray. He traveled to Pennsylvania in 1781 and then on to Franklin Township. He acquired land near Turtle Creek and built a cabin in Gristmill. He also kept a store near the current location of the Presbyterian Church. Murray established the town of Murrysville in 1820, no more than a year after the Northern Turnpike was constructed. He originally purchased several hundred acres of land, which he subdivided into streets and lots. Murray then sold the land into incoming settlers. The school system in Murrysville holds a lot of history as well. Murrysville was the first school established in the area in 1800. Then in 1861, Francis Lloyd Stewart organized the Turtle Creek Academy. Classes were first held in Murray's father's house and then moved to the basement of the Presbyterian Church. The Murrysville Grade School was built in 1905 and is now being used to house several businesses. Newellsburg Elementary, which was now the original high school, was built in 1929. Haymaker Gas Well was built in 1878 and was the first piped gas well in the United States.
Mom's like...
Okay.
Those are outtakes. Do the outtakes.
So what does the future hold for Murrysville? I only hope that Murrysville always stays green. But we have lots of beautiful wildlife here because of the many acres of trees and land that water supports such as divine... What the heck?
Keep going.
Now you gotta start again.
Yeah, Dad, you can't come up that close.
Keep going.
Start it over.
Go.
No, start it over.
No, we'll do it on the computer. Go.
Dad, start it over. The population of Murrysville in 1930 was 3,535 people. In 1960, it was 8,517, and by 1990, it was 17,240. Since the last census in 2012, it had grown to 20,200. Murrysville's newest retail development is the Blue Spruce Shops. It includes retail shops, restaurants, office space, and a preschool daycare center. It is sure to become Murrysville's newest meeting place. Murrysville is a great community and a great place to grow up. I've especially enjoyed all the parks and recreational facilities that support sports like soccer, my favorite. We have great schools here with terrific teachers that care about their students. Murrysville has If a restaurant has stayed open for over 60 years, they are doing their job right. Service is always great, perfect sized portions, and always delicious. Dick's Diner is the meeting place for many organizations. Some are just folks getting together for a cup of coffee and discussion about current events. Other are local organizations such as Westmoreland Chamber of Commerce, the Christian Business, Men's Chamber, and Women's Business Network. Finally, if you do not get a piece of cake or pie after dinner, you're missing out. My favorite is the chocolate cake. Right down Route 22 from Dick's Diner is Panera, another local gathering place. When I come with my family, I typically see a friend from church or school. There are always a number of high school students meeting here, and very often volunteer organizations such as leader meetings for Cub Scout Pack 213. My favorite eats here is a 4-cheese quiche and a chocolate chip cookie. Speaking of meeting places, I just saw Mr. Brooks here at Panera. So what does the future hold for Murrysville? I only hope that Murrysville always stays green. We have a lot of beautiful wildlife here because of the many acres of trees and land and water that support such a diverse ecosystem. I hope that as a community we find a way to balance so growth and maintain as much green space in Murrysville as possible. I hope you enjoyed the time we spent together today and seeing Murrysville as I do. Next time you're in town, stop by and say hello. Just look for me in one of our parks hiking, on the soccer field, or studying at Franklin Regional Middle School. Bye! Thanks for coming!